the prophecy rekindled. In the ruined temple of Ilhar'Kai, archaeologists uncover scrolls hidden for millennia. Written in a forgotten dialect, they tell of the dark god Vandrix, who nearly unmade the world in the First Age. A dying oracle reads from the scrolls and collapses, whispering, "When the stars bleed, the chosen must rise." All around the world, astrologers report a strange alignment of crimson stars. Panic quietly spreads among the few who still believe in the old prophecies. A shadow in the north. Far in the north, a corrupted frostland known as Eruvane begins to churn with unnatural activity. Warlord Kael Vaughn, driven by dreams and an artifact bound to his flesh, leads a cult of shadow priests to a glacier said to hold a divine prison. There, an ancient seal begins to crack open under their influence. Strange black lightning fractures the sky, and beasts twisted by dark energy begin to roam the wastes. The north falls into silence. The warriors return. Myric, once commander of the Paladins of Dawn, has become a drunkard in a remote fishing village, haunted by his son's death. When mercenaries attack the village, searching for a branded girl, he is forced to act, cutting down the attackers with still deadly skill. The girl, Naira, bears a glowing mark on her hand, the same sigil from the prophecy. Despite his reluctance, Myric decides to escort her to the capital. Redemption, perhaps, has come knocking. The brand of the chosen. In the capital city of Mythos, scholars confirm that Naira's mark is the sigil of Aeva, worn only by the chosen, mortals destined to stand against Vandrix. Once there were 7 chosen in each age, but now 5 have been murdered by assassins bearing Kael's banner. Naira and Myric are warned that their enemies are moving faster than fate. Worse, Naira's powers are unstable, and her mind suffers when she channels too much magic. Time is slipping away. Gathering storms. The king of Mythica, Tarion Valis, convenes a secret council of elves, dwarves, and arcane societies. Across the continent, natural laws falter. Gravity flickers, animals speak in dead tongues, the sea boils without fire. These are signs of unweaving, the breakdown of the weave of magic, the fabric of reality itself. The council concludes that Kael not just awakening Vandrix, he is trying to merge the god's realm with the mortal plane. War becomes inevitable. The siege of Halamore. Halamore, a key trade city and guardian of an ancient ley line, is struck by Kael's army of obsidian-armored creatures. Known as Shadespawn, they are immune to conventional weapons and birthed from corrupted souls. The defenders are overwhelmed as darkness spreads across the city's streets. A magical explosion reduces the central tower to ash, cutting off the ley line and sending ripples through the world's arcane currents. Hope begins to dim across the realm. The heroes seek counsel in Sarathiel, the forest of the High Elves, ruled by the ageless queen Ilaria Starborn. She reveals that Vandrix is not merely waking, his influence is rerouting into the world tree, corrupting life and thought. She offers Naira a shard of Mithralis, a divine metal capable of piercing gods. Ilaria also opens a portal to show glimpses of the 2 surviving chosen. Myric and Naira vow to find them before Kael does. The Bard of Forgotten Songs. Their journey leads to the cursed town of Greyvale, where time repeats the same day endlessly. There they find Corin Greaves, a bard whose songs seem to break the loop. His melodies trigger ancestral memories of the First Age, hinting that he is the chosen of memory. Initially hesitant, Corin joins them after Naira shares her vision and unlocks a verse from his subconscious that foretells their next destination, the Molten Spire. The Cursed Forge. Deep beneath the lava-covered mountains, the dwarves of the Molten Spire refuse to forge weapons of divine consequence, until a trial by fire proves the hero's worth. Myric faces his inner fears, Naira channels lava without being consumed, and Corin withstands the siren song of despair. The Forge King Brom Ironsoul agrees to reforge the Blade of Ylmarion, the weapon that once slew a Star Titan, but reforging it comes at the cost of his own life. The Betrayal Within. As they celebrate their victory, trusted ally Sir Malric betrays them. Haunted by his daughter's curse, Malric believes serving Kael is the only way to save her. He poisons Myric and steals the shard of Mithralis. Naira, desperate to save Myric, unleashes a forbidden incantation that burns through her arm with divine fire. The group barely escapes as Shadespawn descend upon the forge. Myric, weakened and bitter, now sees the cost of war. The Raven Citadel. The last remaining chosen, Asera, lives in the Raven Citadel, a floating bastion ruled by astral mages. Blind but able to see fate's threads, she reads Naira's destiny. She is not just a mage, she is heir to the first mage, a being who sealed Vandrix before. Asera says only Naira can finish the sealing, but it will cost her identity, memory or life. The Void Mirror, hidden beneath Tor Valen, is their last hope. The Deadlands March. Caelvaughn's army spreads across the continent. Elves retreat into their woods, dwarves seal their gates, and kingdoms falter. Mythica's only hope is unification, and King Tarion rallies a desperate alliance of men, beastkin, skyfolk, and old enemies. At Tor Valon, the armies gather, forming a fragile wall against annihilation. Meanwhile, Nera begins training to enter the Void Mirror, where Vandrix's spirit stirs with growing rage. Secrets of the Void Mirror Slayer. Beneath Tor Valon, the Void Mirror pulses with living shadows. Entering it, Nera is assaulted by visions, her mother burning, Marek's death, Corin's betrayal. Each illusion is meant to break her will, but she overcomes them with memories of hope, her friends, her magic, her belief. Inside the mirror, she glimpses Vandrix, a giant of lightless fire, trapped but awake. He speaks to her directly, offering power and immortality. She refuses. Marek's redemption. Marek, dying from the poison, is offered a chance to say goodbye within the Void Mirror. There, he reunites with the soul of his son, once a chosen, who forgives him and reminds him of his duty. Awakened with purpose, Marek returns to the battlefront with one goal: hold the line for Nera. He rallies the men of Mythica with a thunderous speech, finally stepping back into the legend he tried to forget. The Battle of Tor Valon. Kael's legions clash with the united armies in a brutal, cinematic confrontation. Griffins and dragons battle above as spellfire lights up the night. Corin uses sound magic to shatter the morale of Kael's commanders, while Brom's dwarven war golems crush Shadespawn. The lines falter and hold, falter again, then surge with Marek at the front. The gods themselves seem to watch in silence as destiny unfolds. Nera's ascension. Inside the Void Mirror, Nera discovers the mantle of creation, passed down from the first mage. With it, she has the power to reweave reality, but only once. She realizes the only way to seal Vandrix forever is to erase high magic from the world. She channels all her power into a final binding spell that will also erase her from memory, name, and time. With a tear, she whispers a goodbye to Marek and steps into light. The fall of Caelvaughn. In a final clash atop the flaming battlements of Tor Valon, Marek and Kael duel. Kael, now part divine, strikes with ethereal fire, but Marek fights with sheer will and the reforged blade of Ylmarion. As Vandrix's power begins to seep from Kael's form, Marek drives the blade through him and speaks Nera's name. Kael screams as his body fractures into dust. The Shadespawn disintegrate. Silence falls. The final spell. A golden light erupts across the land as Nera's spell activates. The Void Mirror shatters, sending waves of cleansing magic across the sky. All who ever practiced high magic feel it slip from their grasp. Nera's name vanishes from scrolls, her face from memory. Only a dream remains, a woman cloaked in flame and stars. Marek smiles as he watches the sky, knowing what she gave. A kingdom mourns. Tor Valon rebuilds as a new capital of peace. Monuments are raised to the Seven Chosen, their names etched in stone, save one, marked only as the Lightbringer. Corin writes songs he cannot remember the source of. Marek disappears quietly into the countryside, leaving his sword by a tree. Magic fades from the world, becoming legend, myth, and bedtime story. The Ember of Magic. In a desert village far away, a child draws glowing symbols in the sand. His mother scolds him, but a faint shimmer remains in the earth. The runes resemble the language of the first mage. As wind stirs the dunes, a familiar voice whispers, "We are never truly gone." A new age begins, not with power, but with wonder.